Former President George W. Bush has found a most colorful way to spend his retirement. As CBS Evening News anchor Norah O'Donnell learned during a visit just a few days ago.
Well, this is just about heaven out here.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's, you know, we got unbelievably interesting views and beautiful trees. Some of these have been out here 200 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Springtime in central Texas doesn't get any better than this. The bluebonnets are in bloom across the 1,600 acres of Prairie Chapel Ranch, south of Dallas.
Yeah, I've prepared a special lunch.
A retreat for former President and First Lady George W. and Laura Bush, where they once entertained world leaders. And though Mr. Bush has stepped back from the world stage,
how do I look now?
His trademark strut and salty humor are as strong as ever.
It's like these interviews I used to do, and they'd call in from New York. Ask the son of a about when he stopped
taping you. Yeah.
Oh.
The former president gave us a tour of his tree farm.
You're in the tree farming business?
Yeah, baby, we're selling trees.
And while Mr. Bush did take out one of our cameras, he has a valid excuse.
You know what's interesting? I have not driven a car on a road since 1993.
Wow.
Before you were born. Come on in.
And I see Studio 43.
That's it.
Well, I can smell the paint, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The occasion for our visit is the release of a new book of his oil paintings, Out of Many, One, Portraits of America's Immigrants.
Welcome to my studio.
Wow.
It's a wonderful place to paint, and it's a wonderful place to hang out.
His subjects range from the famous to the not-so-famous. They are all equally celebrated by this 74-year-old commander-in-chief turned artist.
When your husband started painting, what did you think?
I was shocked.
Really?
He hadn't even ever looked at art. I mean, we lived with a major American collection at the White House.
And he expressed no interest then?
No, he was not at all interested.
What led you to painting?
You know, in retrospect, it was longing for learning. The presidency is a great learning experience. And then all of a sudden you're not president. And by chance I read Winston Churchill's essay, Painting as a Pastime. And it got me thinking about painting. And in essence I said, if that old boy can paint, I can paint. And so I started.
The paintings themselves are much more than art. They are a timely message to Washington.
Do you want to be involved in the immigration discussion?
Yeah, I do, in a way. I don't want to be prescriptive. I don't want to, tell Congress how to do this or that. I do want to say to Congress, please put aside all the harsh rhetoric about immigration. Please put aside trying to score political points on either side. I hope I can help set a tone that is more respectful about the immigrant, which may lead to reform of the system.
You gave an Oval Office address on immigration.
I did.
These are not contradictory goals. America can be a lawful society and a welcoming society at the same time.
It's been 15 years.
I know it.
Still, nothing's been done.
No, a lot of executive orders, but all that means is that Congress isn't doing its job.
Is it one of the biggest disappointments of your presidency?
Yes, it really is. I campaigned on immigration reform. I made it abundantly clear to the voters this is something I intended to do.
Despite bipartisan backing, reform failed during Mr. Bush's tenure. Years later, Donald Trump made anti-immigrant rhetoric a centerpiece of his campaign.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
The problem with the immigration debate is that one can create a lot of fear. They're coming after you. But it's a nation that is willing to accept the refugee or the harmed or the frightened. To me, is a great nation, and we are a great nation.
The former president supports a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants if they pass a background check and pay back taxes.
And if that were the proposal by President Biden, would you lobby your own party to support that?
I am right now. I don't whether my own party listens to me or not is another question.
Though he has refrained from criticizing his successors, he told us there's a clear difference between him and former President Donald Trump.
I feel a responsibility to uphold the dignity of the office. I did then, and I do now. And I think it's undignified to want to see my name in print all the time. I think it basically sends a signal that I miss being famous. And, I want people to see me, listen to me, and I don't. I really don't.
So you feel humbled by the office?
Totally. To me, humility shows an understanding of self. It shows a belief in a higher power. It's necessary to be an effective leader, and we were short of humility.
In the last 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Bush left office in 2009 with approval ratings as poor as the state of the economy at the time. Yet the Trump presidency has inspired a fresh appraisal of the Bush years, something actor Will Ferrell poked fun at in a TBS comedy special.
How do you like me now, huh?
The real George W. Bush has made headlines with friendships that cross party lines. Case in point, the 2016 opening of the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
There was that moment, of course, where you and Mrs. Obama hugged.
A big hug, yeah. I think the one that became more famous is when I gave her the Altoid during McCain's funeral.
Yes.
And it shocked me. We got in the car, and I think Barbara or Jenna said, "Hey, you're trending." And the American people were so surprised that Michelle Obama and I could be friends. I think it's a problem that Americans are so polarized in their thinking that they can't imagine a George W. Bush and a Michelle Obama being friends.
Mr. Bush's position on immigration does set him apart from his party's most strident voices. And while he no longer has the bully pulpit of the presidency, he hopes his paintings will speak louder than words.
The portraits that you have done are beautiful.
Thank you.
But how does it change policy?
It doesn't, but it's a part of hopefully creating a better understanding about the role of immigrants in our society. Mine is just a small voice in what I hope is a chorus of people saying, let's see if we can't solve the problem.